And I shared being on the internet. Internet, what a great... I have I have spiritual teachers all over the world communicate with me, from India, from all over the place, and I have a wonderful group of Islamic young men who are in Africa and in Northern Africa, and we have been communicating, and I told them what we were going to do yesterday morning, and they asked, could we join you? So they're 8 hours ahead of us, and so when we were here, and where they are, they all gathered, and they said it was our prayer time, and we included all of you, and I said our prayer time included you. And they said, this is what the world should be. This is what the world should be. And then they said, I guess you in America don't hate everybody in Islam. And I said, religious scientists don't hate anybody. You see, our challenge over and over again is to wake up and say, wait a minute, what the great, the good, and the wise understood was true. Maybe it is true, and maybe I can trust it. What they knew was true is absolutely beautiful if we let go. As Plotinus said, if you want to do something, do it. You want to do something, do it. How many know people say, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, yeah, I'm going to do this. If you know them long enough, one day they say, you know, I almost did that once. Okay, I almost did it once. How many have something you're ready to do? How many something's been on the shelf and you're ready to pull off that shelf and do it and be it and have it? Give it, receive it. See, the universe doesn't care what you talk about. You know what the universe, you know how it responds to you? It responds to you in the way you give, because what you give multiplies and returns to you, period. That's it. I don't care what you're asking for. You know, Shakespeare understood this when he said, my words fly up, I know, but my words stay here below. Thoughts without words never to heaven go. Words without thoughts never to heaven go. Ideas without conviction never to heaven go. What does that mean? Heaven is where? Not up there, but here, in, within. This is where we need to go. This is the power of meditation in action. You see, as Robert Preissing said, mountains should be climbed with as little effort as possible and without desire. The reality of your own nature should determine the speed. If you become restless, speed up. If you become winded, slow down. You climb the mountain with the equilibrium between restlessness and exhaustion. Then, when you're no longer thinking ahead, each footstep isn't a means to an end. It is a unique event in itself. Everyone say, my every step forward is a unique event. If I move out of where I don't want to be into where I do want to be. See? Why waste your time and effort maintaining what you don't want? One of the things that is very interesting about our teaching, you've heard me say this before and teach it before, is the realization that there are a lot of people in this movement and the world who are jumping up and down, and they're thinking they're going somewhere because they're moving. And all they're doing is jumping up and down in their status quo. They're jumping up and down, and yet that doesn't mean that the yesterday that you have keeps happening. It means a new version of it keeps happening. Over and over and over again until you do what? Everyone say, if I want to quiet the outer storm, I quiet the inner storm. If I want to quiet the outer confusion, I quiet the inner confusion. If I want to quiet the outer nonsense, I quiet the inner nonsense. How many know people that are wasting their time trying to get the world to change? What did Dr. Barker say in his wonderful book, How to Change Other People? He said what? Change who? Yourself. And then what happens? They have to change. They will either change or pack their bags. What did Reverend Ike say? If your wagon's in a ditch and you won't get out of that ditch, unhitch. How many been hitched to a nonsense wagon? Confusion wagon, doubt wagon, fear wagon? Unhitch. There's other wagons out there. There's other ideas out there. There's a new concept waiting to come forth as you. How many are Chuck Correa fans? And I had to go back, I'm dating myself. Good. Yes. Somebody sent out a thing. You see the thing on the old, whatever, I won't get it. on the 1950s cars. And see how many you could recognize? Good. I showed it to Cynthia and she... Chuck Corea is one of the great music minds of the last century, and this one also. But Chuck said this, Chuck Corea, I searched through rebellion, drugs, diets, mysticism, religions, intellectualism, and much more, only to begin to find that truth is basically simple and feels good and clean and right. Simple, clean, and right. Dr. Holmes said, what we teach in religious science is so simple, we have to confuse it up so people will believe it. We have to complicate it up so people will believe it. How many have done that? You see, here's the challenge. I know some of my students said this the other night, said, we're going into simplicity, aren't we? I said, yes, because that's the right direction. See, truth does not take you into complication, it takes you into simplicity. The answer to anything in your life is very simple. Change your mind, change your life. It's that simple. Oh, now how do I do that? That's what education is about. That's why we have classes. How many are in class right now with us? Raise your hand. Okay. How many have benefited from the classes? Okay. How many have found yourself experiencing what we want you to experience, and that is this. Everybody say, when I see it in a clear way, I cannot go back and accept a vague explanation of it. See, how many try to do that? What's the old, remember the old song, I wish what was it, Bob Singer's, Against the Wind? He said, I wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then. Well, maybe we are going against the wind, but that's all right. That's all right. It's fun. You go into it. You go into it. How many know anything about sailing? Okay. How many know if the storm or heavy waves come up or whatever, you don't go away from it, you do what? You go into it. Okay. You go into it. You go into it with a consciousness, I know what to do and how to do it. You go into consciousness, I know how to sail this thing. You go into consciousness, even if I get off course, I can get back on course, if I know I'm off course. So we go on and on and on with the basic idea of the truth of ourselves, and we find that anything and everything can change for the better if we choose to be that change in action, if we choose to let go and let the beautiful in us, as us, be us. I'm going to share this with you. This is from a 1929 Science Mind magazine. It was the January issue, and I have the magazine. And I found this, and I said, what a wonderful affirmation for the new year. It was in 1929. I'm sure it is now. This is written by Henry DeCroft. Again, 1929. Think twice before you speak, he says. Think twice before you speak applies well to all forms of expression. To write less often and with economy of words is the greater art. He's talking about simplicity, isn't he? These thoughts come to one who has learned the art of meditation accompanied by a judicious reading and a beautiful living. My forest meditation is but a picture of the ideal meditation because there one is undisturbed. How many know there's something in you that's undisturbed? There's something in you that doesn't know loss. There's something in you that doesn't know anything about challenge. It is what it is. If we trust it, with God all things are possible. That's what it is. With infinite intelligence in you, as you, by way of your awareness, in action, all things are possible. He continues, he says, it is a symbol of the meditation available anywhere by practice. By practice. My challenge to each and every one of you, whether it's me up here, or Dr. Cynthia, or Reverend Dar, who is she still in Hawaii? Anyhow, she'll be back tomorrow. She has class tomorrow night. She better get back. Simplicity in action. He said, but fortunate indeed is the one who knows what nature will do for him, be it the forest, the mountain, or the sea, or the desert. conservation of energy is, of course, essential to all ways of living, but it is particularly necessary to the creative artist and scientist. Isn't that interesting? Artist and scientist. Are we not religious scientists practicing the art of living? The art of living? How many know people who practice the art of unhappiness? The art of doubt, the art of fear, the art of reasons why they have to be less than happy, less than healthy, less than beautiful in this thing called life. He continues, the painters of pictures, for instance, are as prolific in prolific production as writers. For without the first recharging our nature with the spiritual energy, there will be nothing to conserve except a shell of unrelated knowledge and empty living. Dr. Holmes said, yesterday's treatment is not good enough for today.